I'm an original weeaboo from way back before that was actually a term, because I was into all things Japanese, including Japanese anime, Sentai, all that stuff, way before that was like a cultural thing. And at that time, the only way you could get anime was if somebody had been stationed overseas and they came back and they had just happened to bring VHS tapes. So our most common method was to meet up and swap tapes if you knew somebody. And then eventually the anime convention started making that easier and easier. And then more and more stuff from Japan started infiltrating its way in. And then the big anime boom of the 90s started coming in. And
but back then when you were doing that, we were making copies. So my uncle came back and brought a beta. So a lot of his stuff was on beta. We were transferring them over to VHS and trading that way.
We were doing that too. That's exactly what we were doing.
Hardcore, man. I haven't watched some of that stuff in years because I don't have any of that anymore. I don't have a lot of it anyway. So yeah that's great.
But that's the thing. It didn't start becoming available commercially until the 90s, and then what was trickling in from the 90s was, very select anime pieces and things.
Sure.
And
mainstream.
Yeah.
Didn't manga video and like things like Blockbuster actually have like their mail to order service? Like you would get a manga video that had like an anime film or a manga film, like it would have like Cam FDM doing the promotions of like you have Ultra Play and have all that stuff, and then you would find out how to order in the 1-800 number direct to your house.
Yeah, that was mid 90s. I remember the first time I bought Fist of the North Star on VHS, it was that way because they had replaced the soundtrack with someone else at the beginning. Instead of the original Japanese. And that's also when they were dubbing a lot too. But this is kind of what I saw starting to happen as more and more of that stuff started making a foothold and more people were buying it and getting into it. The availability became so saturated to the point where we no longer had to work hard to get the stuff that we wanted to. We didn't have to trade the tapes and all that. And on the one hand, I thought that was a wonderful thing at first, but now we're to the point where we have generations who have grown up without having to struggle to get the stuff that they want. They've always had easy access to it, and so therefore there's maybe not as much of an appreciation for it as what we had to deal with in getting it. And I think it's been the same with the comic books and old things like that. I mean, do you guys disagree with me or?
No, I think you're 100% right. I actually did a video, one of my early Pops videos. I kind of made a comment about Funko. Someone asked me about a Funko, and I said, well, the moment that they showed up in Walmart was your death nail in the Funko craze, because now they're just like so mass-produced, overproduced. People are buying them at $8 to $10 a piece, thinking they have a collectible, and there's like thousands of those in the East Coast. So it's not worth anything. It's like open it up and enjoy it.
That is the truth to a certain point, but if you have the stuff, let's say, from the later stuff, like not like 5,000 piece, but limited stuff, you would only get
stickers and some rare ones,
like chase versions and stuff like that, like what I have. You like I sold like what was it, like 8 or 11 of my chase figures because I wanted the money, and the guy came by my house and dropped $2,500 cash in my lap.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I sold a lot of my limited ones like that even the Walmart ones, because I'd find the way to get the nice ones, put them in plastic, and just keep them. A few months later, they'd be rare enough and flip them. But man, you got 10 grand in Funkos. Can't imagine what that room is worth.
I gotta get rid of them. I want them gone. I want them all gone, except for my Spider-Mans. But I want them gone.
We gotta have a liquidation sale at FS's house. That's good.
I hope for your sake they didn't hit that.
Like the original first edition He-Man sets and stuff like that. And
oh yeah. No, I get rid of a lot of my Funkos. I don't have very many Funkos left. I think like the weird nostalgic ones that I enjoy, like a Bob Ross one I would never get rid of. I think one of my daughters gave it to me because she knows how much I love Bob Ross, and some weird ones like that. I've Stan Lee one and things like that. They're more for like nostalgia and my love of them than they would be worth anything. So, Ironcaster, you've been quiet. Are you a anime collector and all of that too? Got this memories of the struggle is real, my friend. We're out there trying to pound the sidewalk, finding the things that we loved as nerds.
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, because I'm in my lower 30s.
Okay.
And so I kind of grew up in that sort of that kind of opening waves of the anime kind of the accessibility becoming much more easy to come across for that, and also comics becoming so I don't want to say so mainstream, because they were always very popular, but where a lot of that became much more widely accepted by the normies.
Yeah, but I think the 90s is, and again, you guys will kind of verify me here on this. I think what happened is once the Batman movie landed in 89, there become this incredible interest in the comic book market. And simultaneous to this, there was this overproduction happening in sports cards, and the card industry kind of came in as well. So the early 90s created this crazy money chasing boom and overproduction in those two markets. You would have sports card comic book guys popping up in like a Sears. It's like you would just find stuff. Every city had like 8 to 10 stores, and it was nuts. And anime was being sucked into that slowly. But like you said, by the time you got to like 95 to 98, there was the conventions were big. The conventions were regular. There were stores everywhere. They were definitely testing the waters with the Japanese market in indie comic books. I mean, I can't even remember seeing an original Ninja Turtle for the first time and then seeing them just in mass production. Like it was so fast. You know, it was like a relic on a wall, and then suddenly they were everywhere.
I do have the actual foot tall Leonardo when the original one. They don't have his swords anymore, but a buddy of mine was moving, and I still have that one. You know which one I'm talking about, like the oversized Ninja Turtles?
Yeah.
I have like the full Cops DVD set signed by Dr. Bad Vibes. I have a whole bunch of stuff, but I mostly collected stuff, for resale eventually, but because with Funko, it was there. If it wasn't for Funko, I wouldn't have gone back into comic books. And it gave me that time to go back into cons, get a little bit more dealing with my agoraphobia and dealing with big crowds and anxiety. And then the lockdowns came again, and how comics were changing, and then I stopped collecting again. But I still have those memories in a long box of Harley Quinn and Harley Quinn Power Girl comics that I'll never give up. You know?
Yeah. Right? And I'm not playing no